Welcome to the seasonal Valhalla Esports League Town Hall. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with this. You have seen this happen before. Many of you have been here before. Some of you may be new. A lot of this content for a lot of you guys may seem redundant, but there is some new information in here about some of the changes that we are making this season for sure. So basically we'll kind of do the stuff we normally do, introduce who we are, who everybody is, what to expect from us, talk a little bit about our structure, a little bit about our Discord, and most importantly, we're going to talk about our new tournament platform, taking us away from the challenges we know that many of you face using League OS in the past, and really simplifying not just for you guys, but also for us. You will be able to find this document live as well in the Town Hall chat in the VHEL Discord. So you can go ahead and head there. That's also what you're seeing over here on the right side of your screen, which is just a live running chat of that. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in there. Of course, we can see them as they appear, and we'll try to answer them either live or certainly at the end, which we will have some time set aside for at the end as well today. All right, so I'm just going to jump into it. You're hearing the voice here of Chris Barstad. Many of you know me as OMS or 1 Minute Silence. I've been the league director of the VHEL since its kind of beginning many years ago. You guys can read through this document separately on your own, but I'm a big reader. I love fantasy. I love fiction. I also used to love Overwatch. I have some strong opinions about the changes that have recently been released, but we could debate that in the Gen Chat another time. Jamie, do you want to introduce yourself? Jamie's here with us.
Hello, my name is Jamie, and I'm your community coordinator here. You'll see me in the tickets sometimes helping out and also in multiple different places. Super happy to be here with everyone and excited for a wonderful spring season.
The man behind the cam, Trey.
Hello everyone, I am Trey, or Edge, as you'll see me in the Discord. This is my, I think, closing third year now with the VHEL. I am the production manager, so I manage all of our live streams, media, all of that good stuff, and occasionally I will chime in with platform operations and helping make sure things go smoothly. I got my start in esports running Tetris tournaments out of my bedroom, super unique niche, and now through the VHEL, I have touched all of the esports.
And then, of course, Austin as well. Many of you know him as Chumpy. He is actually running Minecraft live right now on what is arguably some of the worst Wi-Fi ever, but he is still running it over there. He is back again this season. Certainly, he's the Minecraft guru. He is a recent graduate from Prosper, so he played in Minecraft in the VHEL not that long ago now. He's been hanging out, helping around for, oh gosh, I don't know, probably coming up on a year at the end of this season for sure. So a good period of time. Definitely loves esports. He's a big fan of Minecraft. You guys will be dealing with him for all of you Minecraft players for sure. All right, let's dive into the season structure and talk a little bit about what it's going to look like. It is the same as it always has been. Of course, winter and summer are a little different for us, but our fall and spring seasons are our cornerstone seasons. There are 1 to 2 weeks of preseason. It was 2 weeks this spring. We're coming to the close of that just this week. Actually, today, actually in probably the next 15 minutes, we will close out preseason week 2 entirely. We'll go into 7 weeks of regular season play. And then after those 7 weeks of regular season play, we'll head into 2 or 3 weeks of playoffs. Really, the only game that is now 2 weeks, or the only game that is 2 weeks of playoffs is Fortnite and Apex. But yeah, right. I think Minecraft is now 3 weeks, but Trey will talk a little bit more about that later as we get closer to it. We're going to go a little bit through each title just so you know what to expect every week and what that structure looks like. It won't be much info. I'll try to keep it short. We don't want to keep you guys here late. I know for you Easterners, this is definitely keeping you on late tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. So we'll dive right into Fortnite. Fortnite, of course, is the most unique title. It does also create the most challenges, but it is a very popular game here in the VHEL. Each week of Fortnite is really 2 drops, and of course we do run duos standard style, we run duos no build, and then we also run squads. Those are on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday respectively. And then the one thing we really wanted to talk about here tonight, especially with Fortnite duos, is that we're actually going to be moving to a slightly different playoff structure than we've done in the past. So historically, our Fortnite teams, everybody has qualified, and that will remain the same for squads and no builds. But it will not be that way for duos. Our duos is kind of busting at the seams this season, so we are going to have to make a little bit of a change to accommodate that structure. So what we're doing is our actual Division 1 is no longer going to be a group of 100 players or 50 duos in Division 1. It will now be 50 duos in Division 1A and 50 duos in Division 1B. And what will happen is the season will end and the top 25 duos from each of those groups will move into playoffs, and the bottom 25, it'll probably be more like the bottom 27 or so, will not qualify for playoffs for Fortnite Duos Division 1. The other divisions, that still remains to be seen. We'll see how the ranks work out, but anytime we're going to have two groups of the same kind of skill level, we're going to be moving it to a 50% from each group moves into playoffs. And the real reason why we're expanding Division 1 is because, well, I mean, we have literally, I think we have more than 60 duos that are all unreal. Everyone is unreal. And I mean that both literally ranked unreal and figuratively. They've got, our Fortnite duos divisions have gotten really strong. So we're making that model change there. For Smash Brothers, it's business as usual. It is the only game that we offer that operates in Swiss model throughout the season. And the challenge for that is that unlike our traditional player versus player or team versus team games where you can reschedule a week out, 2 weeks out, there's a little more flexibility. It's Swiss, which means that we can only advance to week 2 once every match from week 1 is in the books, and so forth throughout the season. Therefore, it is absolutely essential that nobody tries to reschedule beyond Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific. And it used to be Friday. We try to get it done by Friday, but Saturday we can work with so that we can then spin up the next week on Sunday afternoon. We have a pretty specific striking process for maps. If you want to scroll down a little there. There we go. There is a stage striking process or pick ban process. This is, of course, outlined in our rule set, but additionally, you can find it in the Smash Brothers information or rules section in the Discord as well. But make sure that you're following through with this. This process should be happening in your unique Discord thread that belongs to you and your opponent or your organizations only. You should be going through this before play. If you want to stay on time and get your matches going by 4:30 Pacific time, we would suggest that you begin correspondence as early as possible in that thread, ideally around 4:15. All right, Overwatch, which you'll know is affectionately no longer called Overwatch 2. It is Overwatch, and for those of you who have been paying attention or following along with the updates for the Esports Series Championship or ESC, the rings that we recently announced, we do know that they had the Overwatch 2 logo on them. We did get that fixed before they were in production, so it will be Overwatch only. Normally, we have a 2-week period for all heroes or maps that are new and released. In this case, because these heroes were released prior to regular season beginning, we are just going to roll with the game as it is. For those of you who are currently playing Overwatch on a regular basis, you know that it is a very different game now. So make sure that you get in there and get some games in so you know what to expect in regular season. I will say that we did go through the map pool today. Shout out to the good Golem from Santa Margarita. He reminded us that Antarctic Peninsula is not even in rotation for quick player comp anyway, so we will be making a slight map change to the rule set over the weekend, this weekend as well. But in general, everything else will remain the same. I know many of you are used to the hero banning process in comp. Unfortunately, that has not been installed in the custom lobbies, even with the most recent update. So at this time, we are not going to be running hero picks and bans during pre-lobby play, simply because it doesn't exist yet on the platform. Apex Legends will be our next game. Apex Legends operates a lot like Fortnite. There's 2 drops per week, and then we take those scores and combine them to get you your weekly score. Apex did grow for us pretty substantially. A big shout out to the TechSef organization, which has come over, brought their Apex groups over here to play. We will have 2 divisions of Apex. We're still working through what those are going to look like and what teams are here and what the ranks are and all that good stuff, but Apex will be happening for sure. Make sure you're checking out the rulebook there to see what the map rotation is going to be. We will probably make a couple little map rotation updates for this season as well, because our lobbies have grown. In the past, we tried to use the smaller maps so that the experience was still good, but we'll be able to kind of open those back up and try to track a little bit with the ALGS Pro scene and see what they're doing. I know we have got some questions about POI and legend banning. That is not going to be a part of the process for VHEL at this time. We'll be sticking with play as is. For Valorant, there is a pick ban process. We know that there is a pick ban process for maps, but for BO1 and for best of 3. So make sure that you are taking a look at the rule set and understand what that pick ban process is. I think we just updated the map pool a couple weeks ago to reflect current map pool meta, so it should be on point. Of course, if you catch something that we missed, we always ask that you let us know. Regular season is, again, best of 1. A lot of that is just a time factor. Best of 3 for Valorant can be brutal, especially at 4:30 p.m. on a weeknight, on a school night. Certainly for the Eastern teams who are playing at 7:30. Rainbow Six Siege is coming back again. We are still looking to get our final team count in, but we may end up having 2 divisions of Rainbow Six Siege. We may run 1 mega division. We're still trying to look at what those final registration numbers are going to look like. We do want to always make sure we remind you, though, waivers are required for every single player before teams can be scheduled. If we enter into week 1 of season and we do not have waivers, that team will become ineligible. They'll be removed from the season and we will move forward without them. So make sure that it's Thursday before season starts. Make sure that you are getting those waivers in. If you have any questions, always refer back to the ticket tool. And then we'll jump into Minecraft and I'll throw it over to Trey for that.
All right, everyone. So I know that there are a lot of returning Minecraft Bed Wars teams. I also know that this season we got quite a few new Bed Wars teams. So I'm going to make sure that we go over the whole competitive format so everyone is on the same page going into season. I know that some new teams have been playing in preseason and been getting a feel for the format, but we just want to overview it here so everybody understands. How we run Minecraft Bed Wars, we do not do direct matchups. We do a mixture of Swiss and Battle Royale structure to stay authentic to the standard public play experience. We create lobbies of 4 teams with 4 players on each team. They will be competing in a last team standing format where they also earn points for eliminations and bed breaks, similar to how we run our Battle Royales. The lobbies will be shuffled every week based on leaderboard placement. So if you are in the top 4 teams on the leaderboard, you will be playing in the quote-unquote top division. You'll be playing in that top cut lobby. The first 2 weeks of a season are seeding rounds, where everybody's points are weighted equally. They will then lock after week 2, so weeks 3 through 7. We'll be playing with weighted points, which means that if a team attempts to sandbag to earn points later in the season, that point weight will kind of lock them down there and disincentivize that type of play. For the first few weeks, we will still be using our server and lobby structure that we implemented last season, where we have multiple servers running at the same time. We've heard some complaints about the server and how it needs some optimization. I'm pleased to announce that within this spring season, we will be migrating to a new optimized server solution that we are working on in the background. We are currently testing it for deployment in season. There will be no economy or rule changes for the server swap. It will be purely for optimization, both on the staffing and on the player side. So there's nothing you'll need to worry about there. Items will be the same. Process will be similar for joining. And we will make sure to notify you guys in advance of any process changes that need to be made during play when you're queuing for games. The server IPs will change every week. Just because of how we run with multiple servers and when we transition to the new server. So make sure that coaches are keeping an eye on the Minecraft Announcements channel so they can get all these relevant updates until we finally migrate to that new server. Then you'll be able to connect with that one singular IP consistently. We also remind everyone, while we can't run through the whole procedure now, that if you've never joined our Bed Wars lobbies in the VHEL, if this is your first time playing, didn't make it through preseason, please check the rulebook where we include a step-by-step guide on that process. We also have a channel in the Discord that walks you through this process. And if you need any help, you are welcome to join the server early. Try to walk through this with your teams or yourself as a coach and make a ticket and ask our team any questions you have. We are happy to help you in advance of game day, as well as before matches, as long as we can reasonably get to that. Each week of Minecraft Bed Wars, unlike our Battle Royales, will consist of 3 drops. For Fortnite Apex, we do 2 drops. For Minecraft Bed Wars, we do 3 drops, and we call them drops just to be consistent with our other BR format games. You can call them 3 games, 3 lobbies, whatever's comfortable for you, but staff will refer to them as drops. We do require score reporting of placements for each drop. With the new server, this reporting step manual by coaches will be removed and placements will be automatically recorded. But while we are still on our current infrastructure, you will need to report these placements. If the coach or the team captain does not report placements for each drop, they will not receive placement points, as our current automatic scoring system does not automatically validate first, second, third, fourth. It only validates win and loss. So we are working on that for the new server, and the new server will eliminate this manual reporting requirement. We will communicate when you do not need to manually report anymore.
Hold on, before you go forward, let me jump in here. I don't know how I completely forgot to include Marvel Rivals here, but we absolutely did forget to include Marvel Rivals on this version of the document. It's not a tough difference from the way that Overwatch operates, really. It's a best of 3. It is a regular 7-week season. It is a 3-week playoff single elimination bracket, which I should also let you all know that somewhere around week 5, we will also be running our pre-playoffs town hall, so everybody knows what to expect for town hall as well, which is a separate doc, separate presentation, but a good time to ask a lot of questions as well. But Marvel Rivals will operate the same way that it has historically and operate much in the same way that Overwatch does. The only real change is that they did institute a banning process for maps in the game, and we did outline the new process to make sure you have that setting on in the rule set for Marvel Rivals. So I would suggest Marvel Rivals teams go over there, click that Marvel Rivals rule set, which can be found at the VHEL website under vhel.com/rules, and make sure that you are turning that tournament setting on. Back to you, Trey. Sorry.
No problem. I had to make sure we include that. Marvel Rivals is very popular with our team. So, streaming. As I mentioned at the beginning in introductions, I'm the production manager, so I'll talk a little bit about our stream. We try to stream games every single weekday unless special events happen. Sometimes we do not stream during town halls if we are worried that they will run over. Luckily, with the scheduling for this town hall, we were able to bring you that Valorant game that some folks in the chat were talking about, and then transition straight into the town hall. But during normal play, we will be streaming every week, Monday through Thursday. As you guys may have been noticing, we've also been expanding our streaming operation, now streaming some non-core seasons and some preseason weeks as well, as we try to focus and hone in a bit more on the media and making sure that you guys have games to share with families, folks at home, customers in arenas, depending on whatever type of team or organization you are. On Monday, we will always stream Fortnite Duos, just because it fits well with our operational needs and is an insanely popular game here within our league. On Tuesday, you can usually expect Overwatch 2 to be streamed. Sometimes we'll stream Fortnite Zero Build. Sometimes we'll pop Smash Bros. On. It just depends on that, but you will normally see Overwatch 2. On Wednesday, any potential game here could be streamed. Rocket League, Apex, Marvel Rivals, or Fortnite Squads. You will likely be seeing Apex or Fortnite Squads on Wednesdays. Marvel Rivals, you'll likely see a lot of during playoffs. Thursday, 50-50 shot that you will see Valorant or Bed Wars on the stream. We give priority on stream to higher division teams just because of the skill and the quality of the match. If you're interested in having your game streamed, you can reach out to me through the VHEL ticket tool, and I will see if I can fit your match on the schedule. In addition, sometimes we offer shoutcasting opportunities to students. If you have students in your program or members who would be interested in that opportunity, please make a ticket and we will evaluate case by case. Toss to Jamie, I believe, who will be talking a bit about scoring, Discord etiquette, and our new app.
Yes, I will. So, how teams are scored are based off of win loss ratios. And then after that, the rounds won in between the matches. So, please make sure that you really score report correctly. So, we have that information on everyone. And at the end of the season, the top teams in that division will move on to playoffs. So, not every team will make playoffs. Something to also expect is that every division has their own playoff bracket. So we need to make sure that everyone reports their ranks and peak ranks properly so that we could place teams in their proper divisions. So please, please, please make sure that you check your players' peak ranks and report that when you're registering. If at any point players do move up in rank before the season starts, please make a ticket about it. Let us know about it. That way, we're aware of those adjustments. And then when you're score reporting, also, please make sure that you score report within 2 hours of the match end time. It's vital that you make sure that you report those matches so that we don't disqualify any teams for not reporting. Perfect. Let me move on to Discord then. So, Discord etiquette. So, we are a safe environment for everyone. So, please make sure that all usernames are appropriate and language is appropriate. Please know that there's a bunch of admins and moderators, and also coaches in the server that are watching you. So, please watch your language and also how you interact with each other. We try to make sure that we lock down the Discord as much as possible so that no outside users are in the Discord. So yes, so when you are doing a matchup, please make sure that you head to your match thread that has your that has your information in it, and then you want to greet the opponent, and then you want to make sure that you can schedule it and make sure that you guys can play out the match. If at any point that there are some issues where the opponent is not replying, please make sure you make a ticket ASAP. If anything, always, always, always make tickets if you're unsure of anything, because that's the best way for us to get admin attention. Admins cannot respond to all pings in threads sometimes, so we cannot guarantee that we'll be able to respond immediately. So the best way to go about it is tickets. And if it's super important, emergency tickets. Those are super duper important. So yes, if you're unsure about anything, always make a ticket, and that's the way to go about it. And that should be everything about Discord. Oh, and then the home player. So the home player of the team that is the home team, is always listed first in the match thread. I believe that's it from my end. Now I'm going to hand it over to you, Edge, to talk about the application.
One thing I will talk about real quickly is if for some reason you do not see your match thread, we have a guide here of how to potentially find it. Each division will have a channel that you can see, and you can click the thread wheel in the top right of your Discord desktop to see all of the threads that you have access to. So if for some reason you have lost your thread on the normal left sidebar, you can check here first. If your thread is not populated in either of these menus, that would be the time to make a ticket, and then the admin team can look into it. But usually, especially with our new system, teams should be automatically brought into new threads. Let's talk a bit about score reporting and our new platform procedure. For the past few seasons, we have been on the League OS platform. We have decided to move away from the League OS platform and move to a custom-built application to fill the needs of the VHEL Esports League, our organizations, and our players. Inside of the thread, our new application will provide some basic information about the match we were talking about, the home team. The bot will also now tell you who the home and the away team is. Depending on the game and the rulebook, home and away teams have different responsibilities. A change from past seasons is that both teams must score report to validate the results of the match. In the past, only the winning team was responsible for reporting. This protocol has changed. Please make it a habit in your play, whether you have won or lost, to immediately report your score after play. To find your tournament results, head to VHEL.com/spring-2026, and that will bring you to the interface of our new application. I'll do a bit of a walkthrough to find results right now, but if you don't have this link on hand, you can just go to VHEL.com and you will see Spring 26 brackets in the menu bar at the top. You can also click there to access that. Let me bring up our website, and I will walk through this a bit with you guys. Here's the live view of the Spring 26 page on the website. You can see all active competitions within the season on here. I'll go into Fortnite Duos as an example. Here you can see all of the stages. Stages are divisions and timetables. And if you want to see every single roster participating within the season, that is available to you here as well. I will head to preseason week 2B for my examples. I'm not sure if we populate results for Fortnite of last week, so let me actually head here because this has results for us. Here's what a leaderboard will look like. You will see the standings with all of the broken down information here, keeping it very simple. If you want to see the players on a roster, you can click here and expand them. If you want to break down by match days and lobbies, you can do so here, and it will show the top teams. You may notice that some numbers here are out of sequence. That means that players who placed in those numbers, so the first place team, third place team, etc., have unrostered players. We always try to make sure that teams have the accurate roster data. You can see your roster data on the participants tab and expanding your own team. You can see the peak rank you reported, as well as the name of the player. If you notice that you are missing points on the leaderboard that you believe you have earned, and check the participants tab and see that your in-game names are not up to date, please make a ticket and update your in-game names for your players. The in-game names for Fortnite scoring especially, as well as Apex and Minecraft, must be accurate to what is displayed in the game. For the first few weeks of season, we usually have some grace and publish a list of unclaimed players that play in each drop, which our new platform helps us export a bit easier than in the past. We will allow you to then claim those players in a ticket to more easily add them to your roster. Now I'll show a Swiss and round robin example. Let me head to Smash since we have a lot of population here. This is what Swiss and round robin standings will usually look like. You will see the name of the team. You can expand their roster. You'll see their win-loss and then their games won. This currently displays game diff, but we will be sure to update that. In each round here, you can see the matches and their results. We also indicate and track forfeits, as those play into certain seeding rules depending on the game. If you want more information on how forfeits affect your game in seeding, please check the relevant rulebook on the website. And then, just like Battle Royale, you can check participants here. We tried to keep the interface of the Valhalla app easy to understand, just to make sure that folks can access their results quickly. And if you need any help navigating the new interface, feel free to make a ticket and we will be happy to guide you to the right page. I'll move back to our document now. And real quickly, while I still have the floor since it covers this, we do have a how-to YouTube playlist that covers common VHEL best practices. We will soon be updating this playlist with new software videos, though most of our practices are the same. If you're having trouble with something or would like to introduce your coaches to VHEL protocol, this is a great place to do so. Toss it back to Chris for some league and rule changes.
All right, thank you guys. Yes, so we're just going to talk a little bit about some of the key policies that either have been, recurring themes and issues, or just some other major changes we have made across the league. Number one, you will notice that after that walkthrough, all teams are now required to score report. Both teams, all teams, everybody, except, of course, Fortnite and Apex. Those games are, we do either the automation or we gather the scoring on our own. But team versus team and player versus player games, you are absolutely both required to report. And I'm just going to make sure I clarify here that at the moment we do not have some implemented consequence for not doing so. But if it becomes a recurring problem, which I will say it has been in this preseason, then we will have to come up with a consequence. It is one of the duties of teams when they participate. As I always say, I'm sure you see in those threads when I see unreported scores that reporting the scores should be built into the process of play experience for teams. Come in, interact, communicate, set up the game, play the game, report the score. That should all be done at the same kind of process every single time. So please, we ask that both teams do report the scores. The main reason for that is because we have players reporting scores. What it does is it allows us to see both teams reporting, and that both of those scores should be synonymous. And in the event that they are not, it gives us evidence to go in and have a conversation about what the score was and what evidence can be provided to support the scoring claim. We are putting a 2-hour requirement that within 2 hours of all matches, scores must be reported. At the moment, an unreported score may result in a forfeit loss. That is kind of where we're thinking right now. And a forfeit loss does count against that forfeit record, which I will be talking about what forfeits look like a couple items down this list in a moment. Peak ranks are being instituted for divisions. And what I mean by that is, in the event that, let's say, the peak rank of a Division II Marvel Rivals team is going to be Grandmaster, that means that any team that has one Celestial player on it, regardless of the other team's ranks, will be pushed upward into the higher division. Essentially, what that means is there will be no more like 4 Bronze and 1 Immortal player in a Division 5 Valorant team. That's just not going to exist anymore. That Immortal player will instantly qualify that entire team into Division 1. And really what we're trying to get at here is we want teams to try and make really good decisions about putting players together that are closer in skill so that we can create a division that is equitable and fair for all the teams participating. Teams also, I just want to put a reminder out there that teams have 15 minutes to start matches before a forfeit can be called. And that's a hard stop at 45. So at 4:45 Pacific time, if teams are not responding or are not already currently working toward getting the match in order, your opponent has the right to call for a forfeit and force you into a forfeit loss. It is important that we're punctual. We know we have teams spread across the U.S. And Canada for that fact. So we want to make sure that those teams on the East Coast aren't paying the price of not playing until 8 p.m. their time because other teams are not properly prepared. And since we're talking a little bit about what that time looks like and the potential for a forced forfeit there, we do want to point out that since we went to a free model, one of the things that we realize is that a lot of teams are signing up even though maybe they are not perhaps prepared to actually play. And so our way to mitigate that process is we stand by our policy that 2 consecutive forfeits does result in playoff ineligibility and next season ineligibility as well for the organization or school in that title. So if you have a Rocket League team that is not participating, not showing up, not communicating, and forfeiting regularly, then Rocket League will be a game that is no longer permitted for your organization next season. So it's really important that we're maintaining commitment and legitimacy, as that's what we're always working towards in esports, okay? Additionally, 3 forfeits, whether consecutive or not, will also have the same consequence. And 2 no-shows, not communicating with an opponent, just ghosting your opponent, whether consecutive or not, will also result in that forfeit of playoff eligibility and next season play. It's really important to us that we respect everybody's time and that everybody is committing when they sign up to show up to this thing, and teams are relying on other teams to show up to the thing that they've committed to. So we want to make sure that we're instilling that value in play as well. As usual, VHEL rosters will lock at the end of week 2. There will be no more roster changes permitted. We did explore, and we actually found that it worked well, that if you have a Division 1 Valorant team and a Division 2 Valorant team, and your Division 1 Valorant team is short a player, that you will be allowed to sub up that player with a, quote, varsity counterpart. But we do have a couple restrictions about that. Any organization that has more than one team in a game is permitted to pull the sub in, but that sub must come from a lower division team where they are rostered. The player also will have to be listed as a member of the lower roster, and then a ticket must be opened 30 minutes before match time, asking that player be promoted for this game, and we will move them to the roster above. Now, we do want to make sure that we're not creating opportunities here for people to abuse the system or the rule. So even if you have a player that is on a lower division team, if they are not going to be the lowest ranked player on that higher team, then they will not be eligible. So to give you an example, if you have a Valorant Division 1 team that is all Immortal players, and you have a Division 2 team that is all bronze players or I guess I should say that is all immortal players on your Division 1 team and a platinum player, and you try to bring somebody from a lower division team who is diamond, that will not be allowed because they are higher ranked than another player on that roster. So you can only bring in a lower ranked player to fill that sub slot on the roster, okay? And then I see some questions here. I'll get to all the questions in a few minutes. Smurfing, whether intentional or unintentional, is not tolerated. And what we mean by unintentional in this case is that sometimes coaches report players' ranks inaccurately. Players provide, coaches say, hey, we need your peak rank. And then the player says, I'm bronze, but actually their peak is gold. They're just bronze right now. That is not acceptable. We consider that smurfing, even unintentional, and the player will be removed from the division play. We want to be very, very careful about making sure that our divisions are curated and that we are protecting the division equity as best we can. Again, we want to always point out and remind everybody that we do our best here with trying to do that, but we have what we have and we get the teams we get, and we have to build with the teams that we have. So we just ask that you always try to be patient and considerate of that fact as well. Just a note on some additional events that are coming up. We have the ESC qualifier number 4 coming up on March 7th. Head over to the nationals.gg website to get that information. We also, of course, have our ESC in-person LAN event at Full Sail University in June. We just wanted to make sure we reminded you guys of that awesome event incoming. I think that covers most of the kind of content that we usually go through. You want to scroll down a little bit for me, Trey, just so I can be sure. Questions, yes. Okay. Let me dive into a few of the questions. Thank you. I see Jamie's been pulling some of the questions from Twitch into that chat so everybody can see it on the right-hand side. I'll just go through them kind of one by one. The difference between Division 1A and 1B in Fortnite is nil. There will be no division difference between 1A and 1B. Essentially, we, to give you kind of a sneak peek behind the curtain, if we have a Division 1A and 1B, that means that we're going to take 100 duos and we're going to sort them by rank, the top 100. All the odds will go on the left and all the evens will go on the right, so that essentially you have 1, 3, 5, 7 and 1 to the lobby and 2, 4, 6, 8 in the other lobby. Of course, these things sometimes aren't perfectly even 50-50. We can't really control. What we have is unrealistic, then we have to take that rank as truth, and that's what we use. So that's kind of where we're at. If we have 50 duos that are all ranked unreal, every player, 100 players are unreal, then they're just going to be evenly split. It's not going to have anything to do with what their current skill level is, because they're all ranked the same peak rank. What are the divisions for Apex, and where is a link where I can find more info about it? The divisions aren't made yet, so we don't know. The divisions will be decided based on the registrations we get. If we have 30 teams in Apex, then usually what we try to do is keep it as close to 15 and 15 as we can. But in some cases, we're not going to stick a high diamond team down in a lobby full of gold teams. That doesn't seem fair. Would rather put them with the higher group. So we kind of use our judgment to do the best we can to cut off where that line goes. For Apex Legends, will the points be normal for regular season, or will they be based off of placements in playoffs? These questions, which I did answer in the Twitch chat, you can also find in the rule set. VHEL.com/rules is the best place to go for answers to those kinds of questions. But our structure for Battle Royale games, and this is all of them, is you start with something called advanced starting points, which basically means you play throughout the season. Whatever your position is at the end of season, you are assigned a bank of points heading into playoffs. And that bank of points just adds to your playoff point tally. It gives you a little bit of an edge over the other teams for your seasonal performance. It's the same for Apex, same for Fortnite. Actually, I think one thing we probably do need to mention, Trey, is that we are going to be scaling the Minecraft ASPs a little bit. We're going to, I think, match them to the Apex point system, if I'm correct.
Yes,
right, Trey?
That is a good mention. Forgot to include it there. But yeah, we are making a slight change to Minecraft ASPs. We are going to be scaling them a little bit differently. Rationale behind this was simply to scale with our other similarly sized games. Apex has a similarly sized game and point scale, so we wanted to bring that in, and it also reflects better skill of how the format is played, rewarding teams in those higher placements a little bit more in their ASP.
Okay, Abound, excuse me, asked that do the JV subs, or I think he's referring to the lower division subs subbing up, do they have the same ability to qualify as a sub with the varsity team for ESC? No. So when you sub up a player, the idea is they sub up for the week and then they get removed from the roster after the match. It's really a sub in every sense of the word. It's so that those teams who do have, or those organizations that do have two Valorant teams or two Rocket League teams or whatever the case is, that if this can save us from forfeiting a match without providing an edge to the team, then that's what we're going to do. Because at the end of the day, play over all. Always play over all things. Anytime we can get play over a forfeit, even if it's a forfeit and a 2v3 in Rocket League, or a forfeit and you're like, okay, we have a bunch of other random players that are at school right now or in our arena right now that are going to play just so we can play, great. Take the forfeit, play a match. Like at the end of the day, everybody wants to play. That's what this is about. And so anytime we can get play opportunities, we want play opportunities. And that's why we have this rule in place. But again, just to reiterate, your substitute player subbing up from the lower division team cannot have a higher peak rank than your lowest ranked player on the top team. Will the ESC event allow for our own keyboard and mice? This is a off-the-wall question, not related to the town hall at all. But yes, you will be allowed to bring your own peripherals, but we will also have peripherals provided for you. Since we're kind of talking about ESC here as well, I do want to point out that we are very, very close to the finish line with the information packet that will be sent out to teams who are qualified. Give us another week or so. It's almost there, very close. And then, can a Division I Valorant team pull a sub from a separate Division I Valorant team if a player isn't able to make it? No. You may not laterally substitute. So if you have two all immortal Valorant teams and one of them has 6 on it, one has 5, and the one with 5 has a kid not show up, so now you have 4 players, no, you may not laterally sub them over. Once they are on a roster in a division, they cannot be moved to another roster in the same division or used on another team in the same division at all. That does also beg one other question. I did get several inquiries about like double rostering a player. So for example, maybe taking the lowest peak rank player on your Valorant Division 1 team and just also putting them on your Division 2 Valorant team. You may not do that. We do not allow a player to be on multiple rosters in the same game. Except in this one scenario we talked about where a player is subbing up, of course. I think that's all the questions. Trying to look through the Twitch chat. Looks like we answered most of them. I think we're good. All right, we're going to close it out. We kept it under an hour, which is rare for somebody like me, as we all know. But if you have any other questions or you want to return to this document is linked in the Town Hall 2/19/26 chat. Of course, you guys can always reach us pretty easily via the tickets. Please keep in mind, we try to, after play ends during the week, we try to decompress a little bit and log off of Discord for a few minutes. So sometimes when you put those after play tickets on a weeknight, you may not hear back until the next day. But we are keeping an eye. If you have any other additional roster questions or anything, go ahead and throw a ticket in there. Otherwise, we're going to call it. Thank you, guys.